What's up, everybody? Tommy Vapes back as always, and I do have a few things here to review and talk about. I've taken a little bit of time off since I didn't have anything to review or any new products or any new juice or anything like that. But within that time, I have picked up two tanks. One is the Super Tank Mini by Tobacco. Comes in a little box like this. We will be going over that today, as well as Sense Hercules or Heracles. Either way it's pronounced. Um, Now, my buddy gave me the Hercules as well as a 5 pack of coils for the Hercules. Now, one thing I will say about the Hercules is definitely a very high wattage tank. It doesn't really work that well on low wattage. I vaped it at pretty much 40 watts and up, and then once I found that I usually stuck between 50 and 60 watts on it. Now, the only downfall to that is it will drain your batteries like crazy. Normally, I can probably get a day and a half out of my Kangers or my RDAs. But like I said, this one probably, I would still go all day with it, but I did have to charge my batteries in between my jobs just so that I had a full set of batteries. After my first job, I would have maybe 30-40% battery life left. And on my super tank, I've had this now for about uh, 3 or 4 days, and I've charged it obviously every night that I've had it. I charged it fully yesterday, vaped on it all day yesterday, worked both jobs, and then, or I'm sorry, excuse me, worked my second job from noon to 6 and had off the rest of the day, and vaped on it a little bit when I got home, and vaped on it all day today. Now it is a little bit after 3, and right now I'm only at 45% battery life, so not a bad tank for the price. I believe I paid $30. Now this tank does come with 2 coils, as well as this tank comes in black or silver, as well as the full size. Now the only bad thing about the full size that kind of turned me away is they don't have the reusable coils. They only have the RBA section. Now, with that in mind, when you buy the mini super tank, you do get this little box. Kind of has a magnetic flap right here, and you get your tank right here, or with an already installed 0.2 coil, as well as a 0.5 coil for it. Now, I did notice that with the, as well as this little Allen wrench screwdriver looking tool, nothing else is really in this box. Actually, nothing else is in this box. I shouldn't even say really, it's just that. You don't really get a user manual, you don't get anything like that. With most tanks, you kind of do get those things. So, as far as this being my first tank that I have personally purchased and not like a hand-me-down tank, definitely a good tank so far. The thing about this that turned me on to the mini is that it has a top fill. Now, you just unscrew the drip tip and you fill it up from there. I'm not really going to tip it because I just filled it, but you have 3 slots to fill it, so you don't always have to take your tank off, unscrew the bottom, fill it, screw it back on, screw it back on. You're just ready to go. Now, the only downfall to the mini compared to the full size of the super tanks is, one, obviously the fill capacity. The mini is only a 3, whereas the full is either a 4 or 5. And the unscrew part, the drip tip, does not come off to separate to another drip tip. It's just the full drip tip right there. When you unscrew it, that's the whole thing. Now the full size, or the regular size I should say, is you unscrew it and it does have a drip tip that comes off. But the downfall to the regular size one is no reusable coils, just an RBA, which I'm fine with. I'm perfectly okay with that. But I've come to realize with tanks, I either want that choice to either have reusable or a RBA section, whereas this, it's either or. You get either a black or a silver that they come in. I thought the black looks pretty slick. I did get this tank, seeing as how they do have nickel coils out for it, and they're kind of easier to find. as well as it fits the Aspire coils. And yeah, so that's pretty much why I got it, so I could try out temp control. This box is obviously not temp control. I'm looking at getting either the Smoke or the Smock, however you pronounce it, X Cube 2 within the next couple weeks. I actually have one coming in this week, later this week, at my local vape shop. They only had the silver in stock, and they do have a black, so pretty excited about that, to get the black on the black mod, so, and try out temp control. Now, as far as the Herakles, this one does come with, I'm not too sure what it comes with because obviously it's a hand-me-down tank, but one downfall to this tank is all those airflows that's in the chimney. Obviously, all your airflows are not going to line up with your coil. So you have to make sure when you do screw your coil back in that at least one of your airflows is in there. Either fully seeable, that you can see the cotton. Now, one thing about this tank that I personally don't really care for, but I know a lot of people are probably going to be up in the air about. I mean, personally, it doesn't bother me. I shouldn't say I don't care for it. Is the airflow for the tank is this little down here. Now, obviously, it has the normal clicky option. Normally has 3 or 4 options for it. Now, again, doesn't bother me. I can see where it would be a downfall to some. But yeah, it has the normal 510 connection drip tip with a I forgot what this is called. I think Durlin, something like that. Drip tip, insulated. Definitely, this has been my go-to tank for the last couple of weeks that I have had it until I picked up the super tank, as well as I've gotten the highly anticipated, highly recommended cotton bacon. I've had this for a little while now. I haven't used any of it yet in my RDA, but I have heard a lot of good things about this, so I'm excited to try that out. As well as I got this for a steal. At the shop I picked it up at, normally it's like $6-7, which is about the go-to option for it, the going price for it. And I actually had a discount that I was able to use of 10% off, so I went ahead and used that. Got that for like $560, $570. So yeah, enough of me talking. Let's get to vaping. At first, I'm going to show you how the super tank, vapes. And I have in both my Herakles and my super tank mini, I have my new juice, which I actually need to get some more of this week. Local shop Cafe E. It's called Surreal. It's a Fruit Loops juice. Amazing, amazing stuff. I just picked this up on Thursday. It is now Monday, as you can see. I've only been using it in this. I used it in my Herakles. I think once or twice I filled it, and I've been vaping it on this ever since. And look at that. It's already down to about a third or a quarter of the way gone, or left. Alright, super tank. Performs awesome. The flavor's there. Now, the one thing I have noticed, the pre-install coils have a tighter hit. This is not the pre-install coil in here. This is an Atlantis coil. I just got this last night from a shop on my way home from work, and the pre-install coils have a tighter drag. This one has a lot more airflow. I'm going to go ahead and take out the 0.5 coil so you guys can kind of see the difference. Alright, as you can see, there's those little slots. See, there's 2 bigger ones like this, like that, and then there's the 2 smaller ones like that. Now these are pretty much the same coils as the Atlantis, obviously, since it does fit the Atlantis coils, but the Atlantis, as you guys can see, have those nice, big, large cotton in there for juice wells. It looks like there's a couple bigger ones and a couple smaller ones. But you know what? It is what it is. Now this tank has amazing, amazing airflow. Look at that. You can actually see the coil inside of the tank. try to get my light to hit it. There you go. You can kind of see it against my hand. That's the coil in there, guys. That's not part of the tank. That's the bottom part of your coil. Now, with this tank, I usually have it either all the way sealed off or close to all the way sealed off. With the pre-install coils, I had it almost all the way sealed. This one, I have to have it all the way sealed because there is so much airflow. And normally, for me, airflow is a great option. It's a great go-to. But with these Atlantis coils, there's just a little too much airflow for my personal liking. And I'm vaping at 42 watts. The Atlantis coil is reading at a 0.3 ohms. The pre-install coil that comes in it is a 0.2, and the extra one you get is a 0.5. I haven't already mentioned that. As you guys can see, this tank performs